Chris Miles here, your anti-financial advisor with Money Ripples. Hey, I get asked the question often. Many people will come and say, "Hey, Chris, aren't those high early cash value policies better? Like, for example, Mass Mutual, which is one of the companies I work with. Isn't it better if I have a 90-10 policy where 90% cash goes in year one, only 10% the cost?" I mean, obviously, wouldn't it be better if there was more early cash value in year one? Wouldn't that be better overall? And common sense would say yes, wouldn't it? However, there is an exception to that rule. Sometimes it can cost you more money to do it that way. So let me give you an example of what I'm talking about right here. So this is a real life example of somebody who said, "Hey, we're just getting some price shopping going around. Somebody sent us this Mass Mutual policy. What do you think?" Now they're not in the state of New York, and so I said, there's other companies that can do better, but let's take a look at it. Now, just so you know, this policy was designed pretty well. It's nothing wrong with what this agent did. In fact, I think it's fine in that sense. But if you only looked at year one, you would think you had the best one because look, it shows here about $83,000 you've got. Now, 83,000 seems like great. I mean, that means only about 16, 17% goes to cost in year one. And by the way, this woman, she's 40, 44, right? So that's great. And that's really good numbers to look at. Now, what I told them is, however, it doesn't mean everything because look, you don't even surpass your cost till really year seven. And so what they're doing is when you have this early cash value is they're spreading out the costs, right? They're saying, "Hey, we won't charge you as much as year one, but we'll keep charging you more in year two, three, four, and so on. We'll just spread out the cost longer." Because look at this. Here's the comparison from what we sent them. So year one, yes, we lost. We have $80,000 compared to their 83,000. Year two, though, look. So even though there's 3,000 difference, year two they have 171,000. We have 178,000. Still $3,000 difference. Now it looks like it's about the same. Seems like costs are pretty similar. But look, year three, where mine's 272,000, almost 273,000, theirs is 269,000. We just flip flopped. All of a sudden, year three, they still have some costs coming out. They had a little net cost while we had a net gain. So by year three, we now have more cash in there. So even if you're an investor saying, "I want as much cash as I want up front, I want that as much as possible up front," that's great. But remember, you're investing more than just the first 2 years of a policy. You're going to be investing for years in real estate or whatever you're doing. You want this to be not just good up front, but also good on the back end too. And just so you know, both of them are great. I mean, even the one I sent them, still only 20% comes out in about the first year. That's really good. There's people out there that would argue that you should have 40% coming out in fees in year one. They'll say that somehow the numbers come out better. I have never seen that to be true. I don't know what they're talking about. And I'm going to have to probably do a separate video on that one as well. But I'll tell you that the 60-40 split thing is more for the agent's commission than it is for your benefit. That's something that's more of, I would say, culture or habit than it is actual something that's performance based. So anyways, look at here. By the way, year five, 506,000 you have there versus having 484,000. So now we've got $22,000 more. Even year six, they have 598. We have 632. So we got $34,000 more. Notice it gets bigger and bigger. Now, here's the one advantage this other person had. This other agent does with this, with this other product, have a little bit more flexibility on the minimum premium. Notice they can get down around 10, 12,000 a year. While with this company, the minimum's about 18,000 a year. Still, here's the thing is that even though, and I did the numbers here, you put in $30,000 more over those next 4 years. So you have 861,000. That means if it were better, this other policy should have at least 832,000 to be better. But guess what? They don't. 755,000, still more expensive. And then even after you stop paying into it after that, it grows by, 28, 30,000 a year as it's compounding. Just so you know, this company right here is showing a bigger dividend than ours. So we're showing a smaller dividend, yet we're not going up by 28, 30,000. It's going up by 46, 48,000. It's far, far outperforming the crap out of this one. So even though it's close and looks really close up front, these subtle little nuances, these subtle little differences that you may not notice unless you're looking at this year to year, makes a massive difference in the end. And heck, even makes a massive difference after just a few years. So just be warned, be aware that it's not just about what it looks like up front. It's not just the upfront first year. You got to look beyond that too. You got to compare both. You want to have good first year, low cost in the first year, but also the second, third, fourth, fifth year, and so on. You want those costs to be per really going throughout the whole thing. That is the real focus of this. That's what you really want to have here. And so, again, if you're looking at numbers, you're trying to figure out how it's best done, here's our guarantee. We guarantee we will have the highest cash value policies in any apples to apples situation. If not, we guarantee that we will tell you, and we'll want to know how they did it. One time I did see an apples to apples scenario, they beat us, and what we found out is they actually cheated to beat us. They had to make it a taxable insurance policy versus a tax-free policy just to beat us. So I can assure you that our promise is we will have the best numbers. At best, in a rare circumstance, maybe they match our numbers. But we always come out on top, and we make sure it's customized to what works best in your situation, not just trying to make a bigger commission off of you guys. So if you have any questions and want to have numbers run from us, go to moneyripples.com now.